I was raised in a church. They were very legalistic. My mom was in an abusive relationship and just had to get out. They asked her to leave, which brought my sister and I with that decision. That left a taste in my mouth for what I thought Christianity was like, where they just, if you needed help and you were going through a divorce, they just kick you out, and they were unloving. I had a very interesting and adventurous childhood. I was actually born and raised for the first 20 years of my life in Port Alberni Valley. And that is a place that kind of reminds me of like a dark valley in the Bible. I was actually saved and baptized when I was 8. So the seeds were planted for my life to be given to God to do his work. And when I was 8, I really intellectually didn't know what it meant to be baptized. For my dad, he was a severe alcoholic who saw that the Bible, Christianity, my mom wanting to go to church as a threat to him and what he wanted to do in his life. He also had heavy anger issues, and I do remember kind of a lot of yelling. It was just dysfunctional. A lot of worldly families, or families where one parent is a Christian and the other isn't, tend to naturally have this slightly unstable, rocky foundation. My sister and I were definitely raised to be tough. I had a class in grade 12 that started me studying different world religions and spiritual pathways academically. So from a scholarly standpoint, I was very fascinated about what everyone else in the world believed in different countries aside from Christianity. I've always had a heart for Jesus, but I didn't think Christianity had what I needed. So from then on, I started studying everything from Buddhism to ancient Viking mythology, Hinduism, just Taoism, all of it. I did go kind of on a walkabout for a while spiritually. I was looking for God in everything. Eventually, those ended up being like empty cups. I was always looking for a family. To fill that emptiness, I went through a period where I was in the rave scene. So there was a lot of seeking happiness in drugs. LSD, acid, MDMA, DMT, which is called the spirit molecule, or I'd done enough of those kinds of drugs for a spiritual purpose that at one point I felt like I just did enough, and none of those were doing anything for me anymore. One of my lows was going through a breakup with a woman, and I was living in her condo, and I wasn't thinking about how things would play out. So I was eventually just asked to leave when our relationship wasn't really working out. I didn't have enough time to go and find a new rental place. I was asked to leave overnight. I had nowhere to go. I didn't want to tell my parents, my family, that I was all of a sudden without a place to live. I didn't want to embarrass them. So I went downtown and found a men's shelter. And I was all of a sudden feeling like praying to God was the best thing for me to do. And I was just, I was fed up with life and all the mistakes I was making. So I was still lost, feeling like, well, Lord, this is my situation. My nice condo I was living in, that's gone. So I just felt like I was going crazy. There's a worship team that was at the time performing at that dining hall in the New Hope Center, and they would do that every Tuesday night. And I heard someone with a nice guitar. I was just finishing eating, and I felt that feeling, like my heart started pounding and my spirit, like I got goosebumps everywhere. My heart was feeling what God had planned for me. But it was almost like I went from being lost and in this weird place to being attracted like a moth to a flame to the people singing this worship music. And I had remembered. It felt like God grabbed me and just said, come over here. Like, I had talked to the person singing later, and he said, well, me and my girlfriend and I are doing this worship thing, and we're from Oceanside Church International. And as you can see, the other people playing card games with the other homeless dudes, they're all that's kind of our version of evangelism. I just felt like I'd never heard of a church like that before. I didn't know that's what Christianity could also be like. They asked if I wanted to go for coffee like the next day. They were fully interested in me as an actual person. They weren't looking at my funny mismatched clothes and messy hair. I was afraid that if I told people in the Christian world, in my Christian family, in the kingdom, about, say, all the drugs that I did, having unchristian relationships, being into chakras and tarot cards and crystals, I was afraid that all of it, they would all stop talking to me. He was just like, are you interested in coming to church on Sunday? I guess you can come as my guest. Just wear whatever, come as you are. And I was just like, yes, yes, and yes. I remember actually the Holy Spirit just came upon me, filled me, and I didn't know anyone at church at that time, and I could feel the worship in me so strong that I started dancing in front of everyone, hard, like I was at a rave, dancing right in the front row. And that was a pivotal moment where I felt like this is going to change my life. My heart was kind of like broken at the time, and I definitely felt major, huge elements of healing through that time. Everything that I was seeking just kept moving me along to the next thing until I could actually find some fulfillment in God. I'm very close to my family members now. I have a daughter, her name is Solace. She's beautiful and has turned out like amazingly. She's just beautiful and smart. You know, if someone finds like this piece of gold or a gem and it's in the dirt and it's all covered in muck, I feel like that's like God took me and he's like washed me clean.